Hey everyone, my name is Mark or Pecan, and I just want to say thank you all for 5,000 subscribers. It's honestly incredible how many new people there have been to the channel recently, and I thought, what a better way to celebrate than showcasing really how we kind of got here and how I got to this point of making videos. And obviously we're starting off with some lovely artwork that I definitely drew, not my lovely girlfriend Taylor doodling on the artboard before I started this. Nope, this was me. So high expectations for this video, I should say. So starting off, I was born in the great old state of New Jersey. Now I feel like New Jersey gets a bit of a bad rap because our state kind of looks like a chicken nugget, but it's home to a few great things, like the world's best bagels, the world's greatest pizza, and myself, of course. So what's not really to like about it? And also the road rage, but you know, that's neither here nor there really. I was born in the year 1996 to my parents. I was the second child in our family, and honestly, I would say I was probably the cuter baby. You know, I was born full head of hair, great personality. Everybody pretty much adored me right off the get-go. However, there was a bit of an argument between my parents as I was being born whether or not my name should be changed. Originally, it had been picked out that my name would be Nicholas, and right as I was being born, my father chose to pipe up right then and there and change my name from Nick to Mark. But at the end of the day, I was born a beautiful and healthy baby boy with a long, luscious head of hair where everybody in that hospital just could not stop going on about. And now, while I was born rather healthy and with just such a strong immune system, I did get kind of sick early on in life at about 15 months, and it did kind of scare my parents. I developed a disease called HSP, and while not really deadly, it did leave me in the hospital for a while and scared my parents and left me with this weird blotchy thing on my foot. Now, after I got sick, one of my earliest childhood memories is my family's trip to Disney World. It was actually kind of strange because even though I was 1 to 2 years old, I surprisingly remember some of it. Like, I very clearly remember being at the Indiana Jones play where an actor was being chased by the boulder in that classic scene, and he dives under the stage in a little trap door and escapes the boulder just in time. And even my mom said it was a little weird that I remember that. We got to take a lot of fun trips in my early childhood, and luckily I got to spend a lot of time with my parents because while my mom used to work during the day, my dad would work night shifts so that he could spend time with me and my brother during the day, and that meant a lot to me. Both of my parents have sacrificed a lot for me and my brother, and my dad especially gave up smoking and drinking when he learned that my mom had gotten pregnant with my brother. But unfortunately, my dad's health wasn't as good as it could have been, and in the year 2000, he passed away suddenly due to a heart attack. I feel like I almost never got to meet him, but I just hope that he's proud of me. My mother was devastated, and honestly I was so young at the time, being 3 years old, that she didn't tell me right away, and it was very hard for our family, but I'm very grateful for the fact that I have so many memories and videos of my father. Luckily, we have a ton of home videos from our whole family, and because of my dad, I have my first memory of playing video games actually. My first console ever growing up was the Nintendo 64, and one of the first games I actually have memories of is Bomberman 64, and it just holds a special place in my heart because I remember my dad playing it and me just staring in awe as he controlled that little character on the screen, and it looked like so much fun. That game would later become the first game that I would ever play through and beat all on my own, and just has a special place in my heart because it reminds me of my dad. The game also inspired my first ever tattoo that I've gotten. Growing up and going to school at first was pretty enjoyable, but because my mom had to work so much to take care of me and my brother, my grandma actually took on the role of taking care of us once we got home from school. My grandmother loved to take long car rides, and she would often take me and my brother out for hours just to go to a farmer's market in the middle of nowhere to buy some fruit. But honestly, I enjoyed the car rides and I got to see a lot of the beauty that New Jersey has to offer. But as I grew, my love for gaming continued, and I started playing a game called World of Warcraft after I saw my cousin playing it, and me and my brother really got into the game. I really bonded with my brother over playing video games together, as since he was older than me, we never really went to the same school and didn't have much in common besides playing games together, and eventually as I grew older, I started middle school. Now, from the very beginning of middle school, I could tell I wasn't going to enjoy it very much. A lot of my friends didn't go to the same school as me anymore, and I felt pretty alone, and I didn't really talk to anybody. My mom wasn't home because she was working so much, and my brother wasn't home because he was at band at a different school, so I was left alone a lot. I felt alone at school since I didn't really have friends to talk to, and then when I would get home I would be alone for the majority of the day as well, since as I got older I didn't need my grandma to watch me anymore, so I was pretty much left alone. I started feeling sad all of the time and really alone and just worthless, as nobody really wanted to talk to me, and eventually it got to the point where I started to self-harm because I just had such poor self-image and self-worth that I just hated everything, and I hated myself. Eventually it got so bad and people started to notice. Kids at school would notice and then make fun of me for it. I had never really been bullied before this, and this kind of made me feel even worse and kind of put me in a loop of self-hate and self-doubt. Eventually I got to such a low point in life that I attempted to take my own life, and I don't want to go into detail too much, but I ended up just not being able to go through with it, and I just hope that anyone in a similar situation or feeling that way can get help. And there are numbers to call and there's resources, and please, if you think anyone you know might be feeling this way, please help them get help. Eventually my mom found out that I was self-harming and took me to therapy, as any concerned parent should have, because she wanted to help me in any way that she could. And while I'm still not sure if therapy really did much for me at the time, I did eventually begin to get into a much better place in my life. Eventually in the 8th grade I joined the high school band program with my brother, and for the first time in a while I feel like I belonged somewhere and I had friends. During this time I started working out with my dad's old weight equipment, and I fell in love with fitness, and then meanwhile I was finally starting to make friends and I felt like I was on the right track. Fast forward to high school and I'm growing out some weird facial hair, and I meet my lovely girlfriend Taylor. Actually, she's not that tall, she's a little bit shorter. Now during high school I kept up with band, but I also started running track in the long distance category, believe it or not, until I broke my leg, or at least I got a stress fracture by running so poorly and had to go to physical therapy. Whoops, that's not how you spelled exactly, but I had to go to physical therapy for my busted up leg. And while I was going to PT, I thought the job was so cool and you got to help people in such a really awesome way that I thought maybe this is what I would want to do for the rest of my life. So I set my mind on becoming a physical therapist. Throughout high school and band, I met some of my greatest friends who I'm still friends with till today, and it was honestly a lot of great times. But fast forward to senior year, I was under a lot of stress because even though I had good grades, I wasn't sure if I would be able to get into physical therapy school and if I would even enjoy doing it once I got there. And all of that stress kind of made me end up quitting band and kind of stop talking to a lot of my friends because I just couldn't really deal with a lot of it, and I felt alone again. But eventually I graduated high school and went off to college to give that path a go and see if I could become a physical therapist and if I would enjoy it. But on the first day of college, I really wasn't enjoying things, and it kind of made me scared that if things continued like this, if I would ever find fulfillment out of this path. And after doing a lot of thinking, I decided that I needed something creative in my life. I had stopped doing band and that was my outlook for so long that I was missing that, and that's what really led me to creating my YouTube channel. So therefore, Pecan, the channel, was created. And if you don't know the story of the name, well, I have a video for you to check out. I was inspired by the YouTubers that I had watched for years, and I was eager to start being able to edit and express myself just like they were. So I got a job at a retail store and started saving up to buy my first PC and be able to start making videos. Also, as a side note, in college I continued to fall in love with fitness and began to do powerlifting, which is why I have such big muscles. And throughout college I continued to make more and more videos, and the channel started to grow. Although for the first few years there really wasn't many people around, I was shocked to see that there was anybody. Even from the beginning, when the channel was pretty much just my close friends and Taylor, I loved making videos so much, and as the channel grew, that passion never changed. Eventually I kept making content, and I met a lot of good friends throughout my journey on YouTube, including people that I still talk to today, like Clumsy and Toho. The community has grown a lot over the last year, and honestly, I'm so thankful for each and every one of you for being here. Thank you again so much for 5,000 subscribers. I hope this showed a little bit more of how we got here, and I hope to see you all in our next adventure. Bye-bye.